started with the meeting. Because this is only a 30-minute quick webinar, we wanted to give everyone a quick refresher to make sure DCEO and the LWIAs are aware of all the layoff recovery tools that we have available on the site, and to make sure that you're actually using them with your laid off workers. And I know obviously you can't use them unless there's a layoff in your LWIA, and we know that doesn't happen. Well, luckily that doesn't happen as very often, so we just wanted to give everyone a quick refresher. So I see people have already entered their name and LWIA and organization on our poll. So I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way, and if you haven't put in your name, don't worry, I'll bring it back out at the end of the webinar, and you can enter your name then if you weren't able to beforehand. So I'm going to do a quick PowerPoint presentation just to go over the main parts of the Layoff Recovery website, and then I'm also going to do a quick demo of a few parts of the site, and then Deb is going to go ahead and speak to all of you on how DCEO and the LWIAs can use these tools. So the purpose of this webinar, like I said, is to ensure that the LWIAs and DCEO are aware of and using the new tools. The tools for the LWIAs and DCEO specifically, these are only for people who have been given access. So everyone who's on this call, I only sent the email out to all of you because you're the ones who have access to these pages within the website. The business layoffs and closings page is where you can see all of the layoffs that are being pulled in from the debt system. If you're within LWIA, you're only going to see the layoffs in your LWIA, and if you're with DCEO, you're going to see all of the layoffs. And this is also where you're going to be creating those layoff pages for the public. So you'll see all of the LWIA, all of the layoffs, and then if you need to create a page, it's just a one-click button now. You click create, and it's going to create that page. You can customize it and publish it, and it's very easy to get out to the public. The second page is the partner dashboard. Now this is where you're managing all those company layoff pages. This is where after you've hit that create button and updated the page, this is where you're going to go to activate that page. This is where you'll go if you need to expire a page before the expiration date happens, because there is a 6-month expiration default on each page. And after the 6 months, it will expire. But if you ever needed to reactivate a page, this is where you would go as well. And like I said, this is where you're going to be customizing pages as well. So you can add customized questions to your layoff survey. You can add local documents that you use at your workshops. And this is also where you're going to be doing batch entry for any surveys you do at a workshop that are paper and not electronic. The reporting dashboard is where you're going to see all of the surveys come in. The dislocated worker survey is now online with this new website, and so the laid-off workers can complete the survey at any time, anywhere they have internet access. So this is where you can review all of those surveys entered in by the laid-off workers and export any of the data that you need to your computer. Now, with the laid-off worker survey, the laid-off workers also have the option of selecting that they would like to be followed up with by the LWIA. So this is also where you're going to get to that follow-up page where you can see all the laid-off workers who have requested to be followed up. And you'll need to follow up with them, call them or email them, depending on what the information they provided. And then you can click Finish, and they'll be taken off that page so we know that people are following up with these laid-off workers. And then the last tool is those local company-specific layoff pages where you can ensure the layoff response is easy and timely by providing this public page to your laid-off workers. Like I said, you can add your printables. There is a local area where you can add messages. We have the service locations, events, and opportunities, and where you'll collect surveys. So you'll see all these in the demo as well. Now I wanted to go into detail on the company-specific layoff page because this is what the laid-off workers are actually seeing. This is the public side that is available to those laid-off workers at any time. Now the purpose of this is to help and guide those workers through transition to reemployment. So if they're on the website on their phone at a location, they can get to this page at any time, and you'll want to post any materials, links, workshops, any of that stuff that you have for those laid-off workers so they have that information. So the use for the workers is making sure workers who attend a layoff workshop have access to information covered to view and download when and where they want. And this is also helpful for the laid-off workers who can't attend a workshop or they missed a workshop. It's all available online, so now they can get it anytime they have internet access. And that covers the accessibility as well. It's available to workers anywhere they have internet access, including their mobile devices. So we have created this website mobile-friendly, so anywhere they are, if they're on Wi-Fi, if they're on their phone's data, they can get to these pages. And then the surveys, like I said, we're collecting responses once pages are created, and you can enter the batch entry, but only if that company-specific layout page is created. So you cannot do any batch entry of surveys until that create button has happened on the business layoffs and closings page. And sorry I didn't mention this before, but if anyone has any questions, please go ahead and type them in the chat pod. I see someone typing now. So put any questions you have in there, and I'll make sure to get those covered. So resources for you as the people and staff working with these laid-off workers. We have instructional guides that cover each area of the Workforce Partner Guide that I previously went over. So we have a PDF guide of the business layoffs and closings, the partner dashboard, and the reporting dashboard, so you can learn how to use them and print that off and have it any time in case you forget how to do something. We also have the marketing resources. We have new flyers that are available in multiple languages, and we also have the customizable flyer that you can use to put your local WorkNet office on and pass those out at workshops. We also provide local and state external resources. These link to websites like DOL and DCEO. And we are also always updating the website with the new information that we have. So we always want to make sure you're on the lookout for new pages. And so the new pages we've had since the last time we all met, we have a new reporting and services page that covers trade layoffs, WARN layoffs, and services available to businesses and laid off workers. This also provides all of the WARN reports, archived and current, that you can pull from the website. We have our resume builder. I hope everyone is aware that Illinois WorkNet has a free resume builder for anyone to use who has an account. All they have to do is log in with their Illinois WorkNet account or create an account, and they have access to the resume builder, which lets them create and update resumes. They can create cover letters. They can do practice interviewing. It really has a lot of tools available through it. And then we also have added the event calendar on its own page as well. So if the laid off worker doesn't have a company-specific layoff page, they could still get events that are happening around the state for them. So I see a couple questions came in, one from Annie Dorr. Would you please clarify what you mean by batch update? Can multiple survey responses be uploaded at once? No, Annie, right now we only have it to where for batch entry, you enter it survey in at a time, or when you have paper handouts. We know that's not ideal. We have started thinking about a scanning option, but right now that's not available. So if you do any paper workshop surveys, you have to enter them in survey at a time using that batch entry on the partner dashboard. Diana, you said, speaking of batch entry, there are certain survey questions that require an answer before the survey can be submitted as complete. Actually, right now, Diana, all of the questions in the survey are required except for if they want to be contacted. I believe the way we have them marked in the survey is there is a star next to them, but I will definitely follow up on that and make sure, and if not, we can get that added, because I know the red asterisk or star, as some people call it, is a really common way of knowing if a question is required or not. So I'm going to make note of that, and I'll get with our technical team if it's not already on there, because all of the questions are required until they get to the end that says, do you want to be followed up by an LWIA for your layoff? And if they click no, they'll just submit. But if they click yes, then we do require their name, email, or phone number. And there's a couple other fields that are optional for them to submit. And so that's a good point, Diana. Thanks for bringing it up. And I'll definitely double check on that after the webinar. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick demo I know that a lot of you have already used the site. We've seen pages being created, and it's great to see that you're using them. And so I'm going to go ahead and get my share screen pulled over very quickly, because like I said, this should be a short webinar, so I'm not going to go into in-depth detail in the demo because I know everyone has other things to do today. But before I went into the demo on the Workforce Partner Tools, I did want to show you the page on an iPad. That's what you're seeing right now. I've gone ahead and hooked an iPad up to the webinar so you can see that these pages are available anywhere you have internet access, which includes your mobile device. So if you're having a layoff workshop and you want those laid-off workers to complete the surveys online, if you have a couple of iPads to bring, tablets, if they have their phones, they can go ahead and click on the survey on this page at the bottom and get to the survey at the workshop. Now, we wanted to also just show you this so you can see that the workers, if they have a smartphone, they can access this at any time they have their phone. Like I said, we provide the service locations. This is an LWIA 22 layoff. So we have the LWIA 22 workNet centers listed on here. We have the events calendar. And then I also wanted to pop back over to the layoff info. Like I said, you have the ability to add customized messages to these layoff pages for the laid-off workers to see at any time. So if you're having workshops, we recommend that you put them on this message board so the laid-off workers are getting that information. So I wanted to pull up this page specifically because it has been updated to show workshop information in LWIA 22. And you can see on the right side of the page, we have all of our news items that we've posted and links to all of our social media sites as well. So the laid-off workers can get that information from here. I'm going to go ahead and close this one because I don't want to do the whole demo on the iPad. I'm going to pull over my other share screen and go over a couple quick things. Okay, so you should be seeing the company layoff search page right now. And let me know if you're not seeing it. Go ahead and type in the chat pod. This is the page where the laid-off workers come to get to their actual specific local layoff. So you can see we have quite a few pages that have been created and are being updated regularly by LWIAs and DCEO. And at the top of the menu, you'll see those new pages that I was referencing earlier. The reporting and services covers rapid response services, WARN layoff, and trade layoff. And like I said, we do have all those archived and current WARN notices now available on our site. We have the resume builder page, which gives an overview of what it does and our archived webinar and some quick start guides and resources. So we definitely want to make sure that everyone is aware that this is a free resource for them to use. So all of your laid off workers should be coming here to update their resumes and create cover letters. And then we also have FAQs, news, and events. So from the footer of this website, you're going to get to the Workforce Partner Recovery Guide. This is where you're going to get all the resources that I've mentioned to you before. The Get Started is a page that goes through a high overview of the steps needed to take by LWIAs and or DCEO for a layoff. And this is also where you're going to get those instructional guides that I mentioned. And we also have links to downloads, which include the flyers I mentioned, all of the archived videos. We will post this webinar, FAQs, and then at the bottom we have our links to the business layoffs and closings, the partner dashboard, and reporting dashboard. I'm going to touch on all of these really quickly. So this is the layoffs and closings page. Like I said, it's going to pull in all those layoffs from DEADS. Now, since I am a super user, I get to see all of the layoffs from every LWIA. But if you're with a specific LWIA, you're only going to see your layoffs. So I'm going to go through and you can see how this last column says create or view. Create means the page has not yet been created and it's not available to the public. And view means that someone has went in and clicked that create button and it is now going to show up on the partner dashboard and to the public once it's been activated. Now you'll also see that the company name is clickable as well. And if you click on this, you're going to get to the company specific information about the company, the layoff, how many people are affected, and all that information, but I'm not going to show that. because I don't want to give away any information from a different LWIA. The next tab I'm going to show you is the Partner Dashboard. And like I said, this is where you're going to be customizing those pages by adding questions to your dislocated worker survey. You can add up to 3 local questions. You can also add any of those documents that you have at workshops that you pass out in your local office, PDFs, Word documents, Excels, whatever you need to upload. And this is also where you'll get to that batch entry page. I just want to pull that up and show you. Like I said, it has to be entered right now, one at a time. So you'll go through and enter each survey. And you also, like I said, can expire any pages or reactivate a page if it's expired. Now, all of these pages are available to the public now, but if you had hit this create button and not come to this page and activated it, instead of expire, it would say activate page. Now, all you would have to do is click that activate button, and it's going to be available to the public. Once it's activated, you no longer have to activate it ever again. If you make any updates, you just have to publish the page, and they're out there. You only have to do that activate once. And then the last one is that reporting dashboard. So it's going to default to the graph view, and you have your details view. But I wanted to point out this requires follow-up tab because there are quite a few individuals who have requested follow-up for this specific, for those layoffs. And I'm not going to linger on that tab because it does have users' personal information. But I really encourage all of you to come into these tools after the webinar today and review that requires follow-up tab. It provides the layoff that the person has completed the survey from, their name, their email and or phone number, and their expected last date of work. So you have all that information when you're following up with them. And once you've done that, we really encourage you to click finish so we know that people are following up with these laid off workers. So if anyone has questions after the webinar regarding that, you can always email me or call me. I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of that tab and that you're using it. And that's all I wanted to demo today. Please, after the webinar or anytime you have time today or tomorrow, go through and look at your tools on here, look at all that's available. If you have questions or comments, always email me or call me. But I want to come back to the webinar and let Deb go ahead and talk because she had a couple things she wanted to cover before the end of the webinar. And I know she has to get on the road, so I kind of wanted to let her go ahead and speak before the end of the half hour.
Thanks, Chelsea. Can you all hear me?
I can hear you well, Deb.
Okay, good. Yeah, as as Chelsea indicated, and there's, I mean, this is a great site. There's lots of great information, and I would like to encourage a couple of things before I forget. One is if there's a false report, say you have an event set up, then we need to go ahead and notify John Ray and Chelsea also so that she can not notify us that there's something out that is not being handled. So if there's some type of a false report pending verification or something that would otherwise change the status of a rapid response event that's been set up in DES, we need to let Chelsea know. So I think just right now, standard notification process would be to email your regional manager, copy Chelsea and John Ray so that everybody understands that, there might be something that has changed that status. Also, with these, with workNet, with these things, with the events being set up, I'd like to encourage you, if you don't already do this, right now when you go to an initial on-site, maybe when you have a page, if you have part of it started, take that information with you to your initial on-site and explain to the employer the importance of getting this information out to the employees. I know there's sometimes that maybe you might have a laptop there, you might be using a PowerPoint or something else, but I also know that we have had many, many situations where you're doing an initial on-site where those types of technology and resources aren't available to you. So if you could just take a printout of the page then and explain to the employer the importance of this page, the information that you're going to be posting on there, and we've had them and we've had great success with employers of posting those pages on a a bulletin board or an employee some type of a notification board like in a break room or cafeteria or something like that, an area of high visibility, where then they can understand that they can use their smartphone to go check this, or they can, come into the WorkNet Center and use a laptop or, whatever technology that they have available. But I'd like to really make sure that we're making sure that the employers as well as the employees are helping us get this information out. And I think that so far we've been doing a pretty good job. If anybody has any suggestions, please feel free to let us know. We are working on this, and hopefully in the near future we'll have some additional methods of technology available to us. But right now, if you do those paper surveys, it's called a batch report, but it does have to be put in individually. So I'd like to encourage those to be put in as soon as possible so we can tally and get our planning on. So anyway, that's really all for me. I thank you all for your efforts and appreciate everything. Chelsea?
Thanks, Deb. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. I wanted to point out a couple things before everyone jumps off the webinar. The lower left part of the webinar, you'll see a files pod. Now within here, the last document in there is this PowerPoint we went through if you want to download it, just so you have it for future reference. But I've also added all of those instructional guides and the 2 flyers that I mentioned that we have available, which is the customizable one for the local areas and then one that's not customizable and just has a general overview of the Layoff Recovery website. So you can download those one at a time by clicking on the name and clicking download files, or you can download them all by clicking the drop down in the upper right of that file pod and clicking download all. And I will go ahead and post this video to the Layoff Recovery Partner Guide, and once I have that posted, I'm going to go ahead and send a follow-up out to everyone who's on here and who was invited, so you know that that video is out there, and I'll go over a couple of the high-level points that we covered. And then if you weren't able to enter your name, LWIA, and organization at the beginning of the webinar, go ahead and put that in the file pod now so we can know that you did attend and you were here to get that quick refresher. And I just encourage you, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat pod so we can answer them. And if not, that's all we had to cover with everyone today. And we really appreciate you attending and taking the time out of your day to get a quick update on the site. And so thanks, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and jump off the call, but I'm going to stay on the webinar if you have any questions. Have a great day, everyone.